The moment you decide to build real wealth, everything starts to feel like it's breaking. Your routines stop working. Your relationships feel off. Your money situation gets weird. Even your sense of who you are starts shifting. It's uncomfortable, confusing, and honestly, it can make you question if you're doing the right thing at all. But here's the truth most people never hear: this chaos is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that your old life can't support the new direction you're choosing. Because building wealth isn't just about earning more money. It's about upgrading your entire way of thinking, living, and making decisions. And that kind of change doesn't happen smoothly. It disrupts everything. At the beginning, the first thing that starts to break is your comfort zone. The habits that used to feel normal suddenly feel like they're holding you back. Scrolling for hours, spending money without thinking, wasting time on things that don't move your life forward, it all starts to feel wrong. But at the same time, those habits are still familiar. They're easy. They're comfortable. So you end up stuck between two versions of yourself. One that wants growth, and one that wants ease. That internal conflict alone can make your life feel unstable. You'll sit there knowing what you should be doing, but still feel pulled toward what you've always done. And every time you choose growth, it feels like you're giving something up. Because you are. You're giving up the version of your life that kept you comfortable but limited. Then your relationships start to feel different. Not necessarily because people are against you, but because you're no longer aligned the same way. When your priorities change, your conversations change. When your goals change, your interests change. You might not want to spend as much time doing the same things anymore. You start thinking about your future more seriously. You begin valuing your time in a way you never did before. And that creates distance. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's obvious. But it's there. People might say you've changed. Some might not understand why you're suddenly so focused. Others may even feel uncomfortable around your new mindset. And that can make you question yourself. But what's really happening is simple: your life is upgrading, and not everything from your old life can come with you. That doesn't make you wrong. It just means you're evolving. At the same time, your identity starts to feel unstable. For years, you've lived within a certain version of yourself. You've had beliefs about what you can do, what you can earn, what kind of life is realistic for you. Now you're challenging all of that. You're stepping into new behaviors. You're thinking bigger. You're taking risks. You're making decisions your old self would never make. And because of that, you don't fully recognize yourself anymore. It feels unfamiliar. It feels uncertain. But that's the process of becoming. You can't build a new financial reality with an old identity. Something has to change internally before anything changes externally. And that internal shift is rarely comfortable. Then comes your time. When you get serious about building wealth, you start seeing time differently. You realize that every hour matters. Every decision has an impact. Every distraction has a cost. So naturally, you start cutting things out. You spend less time on things that don't move you forward. You start focusing more on learning, building, improving, and creating. But in the short term, this creates pressure. Your days feel more structured. Your mind feels more active. You may even feel like you're always working towards something. And because you're not used to that level of intentionality, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like your life has lost its balance. But what's really happening is you're shifting from a reactive lifestyle to a proactive one. You're no longer just going through your days, you're designing them. And that adjustment takes time. Then there's the part that surprises almost everyone. Your financial situation might actually feel worse at first. You start investing money instead of spending it. You start putting resources into things that won't pay off immediately. You might try new income streams that take time to grow. And in the beginning, it doesn't always look good. Your savings might dip. Your income might feel inconsistent. You might wonder if you're making mistakes. It feels like you're moving backward. But you're not. You're reallocating. You're taking money that used to go toward short-term comfort and redirecting it toward long-term growth. And that always feels uncomfortable at first. Because the reward is delayed. Most people give up in this phase because they expect immediate results. They want proof that what they're doing is working. But wealth doesn't work like that. There's a gap between effort and outcome. And inside that gap, everything feels uncertain. That uncertainty is where most people quit. But it's also where real progress is being built. At the same time, your awareness starts to expand. You begin to see opportunities you never noticed before. You understand money at a deeper level. You recognize mistakes you used to make without thinking. And because of that, your standards rise. Suddenly, your current situation doesn't feel good enough. Even if you're improving, it doesn't feel like progress. It feels like you're behind. But what's actually happening is your perspective has leveled up faster than your results. You're seeing the bigger picture now. You're aware of what's possible. And that awareness creates pressure. If you're not careful, that pressure can turn into frustration. But if you handle it correctly, it becomes motivation. Because now you know what you're capable of. Now you know what's available to you. And that changes everything. The key to getting through this phase is understanding that nothing is actually falling apart. It just feels that way because everything is changing at once. Your habits are changing. Your relationships are shifting. Your identity is evolving. Your time is being redirected. Your money is being repositioned. Of course, it feels unstable. You're rebuilding your life from the inside out. And rebuilding is always messy before it becomes structured. So instead of resisting the discomfort, you have to start seeing it differently. This is not chaos. This is construction. This is what it looks like when your old life can no longer contain your new goals. And if you stay consistent through this phase, if you keep showing up, keep learning, keep making better decisions even when it feels uncomfortable, something powerful starts to happen. Things begin to align. Your habits become natural. Your environment starts to support your growth. Your income becomes more stable. Your confidence increases. And you realize that what once felt like everything falling apart was actually everything falling into place. But only because you didn't quit in the middle of the process. That's the difference. Most people experience this phase and walk away. They retreat back to what's familiar because it feels safe. But the few who push through it, who accept the discomfort, who stay patient, who keep building even when there's no immediate reward, those are the ones who create real, lasting wealth. So if you're in that stage right now, where things feel uncertain, where your life feels out of sync, where you're questioning whether all of this effort is worth it, understand this clearly. You are not off track. You are not failing. You are in the exact phase that separates people who stay stuck from people who level up. And if you can stay in it just a little longer, if you can keep moving forward without needing everything to make sense immediately, you'll come out on the other side with something most people never achieve. Not just money, but control. Control over your time, your decisions, your future. And once you have that, everything changes. If this made you see your situation differently, then you're already ahead of where you were before you started watching. And the next step is learning how to stay consistent long enough to let this transformation fully play out, because that's where the real results begin.